What's up, everybody? Mike McIntyre here from All Things Sports, bringing you a very interesting video today. I'm going to talk to you about how I edit video. So this is just going to be my take, showing you a little bit about my workflow and how you can go about video editing if you're just getting started for the first time or your first couple of projects. So we're going to roll that intro and get right into it. So today's video is going to be very simple. It's just going to be a basic video to show you how to start editing video. Now, the first thing I want to say is no matter what software you use, most video editing softwares follow the same basic generic principles, if you will. You have your sort of timeline along the bottom, your clips and imported files on the left-hand side, your sort of viewer towards the middle or on the right, and then you have your sort of effects profiles wherever those may be. They could be on the left side, the right side, whatever sort of software you're in. I use Final Cut Pro 10. That is the software of choice. They're all very similar. This is where you can import files. So if you were to right-hand click, you could say new event, and then under here, if you wanted to have a project associated with that event, you just make sure that box is checked off. So if I were to start a new video and call it video 1, okay, my little box here is checked off. That will also start a new project. Down here, I can choose the format I want to output the video in. Most of the time, you don't really need to adjust these settings. The program sort of reads the files you're importing and then selects the appropriate video output. So in this case, again, 1080p at 24 frames a second, and I'm going to call the event video 1. Once you do that, you can see I have a brand new video here, and you can see there's this little box up here. That is my project. So I could call this video 1 project. I could call it whatever I wanted it, and that is the name of the project. So you double click that, and that opens up the timeline. So everything you see down here is now associated with this video 1 project. Then I would go to import new files, right click, and now you can select whatever drive you edit off of. You can go down here and select the files you want to import. Now I have already done this, so I'm actually going to delete what I just showed you, and I'm going to go over here. So you can see in this video, let's make this window a little bit bigger just so you can see what exactly is going on. So I've created an event here called Ski Vlog 5. That will be one of my next videos, and the project is right here called Ski Vlog 5. And because I have 2 different cameras that I filmed with, I created a second event just so I know which files were filmed on which camera. So in this event here, you notice at the top, there's no project box. If I click on Ski Video 5, see that project, there's 1 project in that event. I will double click this box. Now you can see my timeline has opened up down here, and that is where I'm going to continue working. So the first thing that I usually do is I go through the files. I usually watch all these clips just to get an idea of what clip has what content in it. So, and then you sort of come up with an idea of what you want to do. I'm just going to put some random clips in there to show you how I edit. So the first thing I usually do is I come in here and I take my intro. So this is my intro, play that. There is my intro clip. So I usually start with that. You just drag and drop it into the timeline and you are set to go. The next thing you need to do is sort of find a track you like, because it's always sort of recommended to edit to the music. So I have a brand new track I just downloaded. I have a certain playlist I use it from, and I'm going to drag this down below into my timeline. So now I've got my track down here. Now, the next thing you can do is use markers to help edit to the beat of that track. So by pressing M on the keyboard, right, I can input that little purple marker. You see that right there? That little purple thing right there. I put another one over here. I put another one here. I'm pressing M on my keyboard, and that puts in a marker. I'm using Command Z to undo what I've just done. But I'm going to listen to the track. I'll play the track, and every time I hear a beat or something where I'd like a new clip to jump in, I'm going to put a marker. So I usually put markers every 4 beats. So I'll simply count 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. And on every 1 beat, I'm going to hit the end key to have a new marker, because that's usually where I will like the clip to transition. Now, after I've done that, I know that, okay, there's bar 1, bar 2, bar 3, bar 4 in my music, and I can adjust it. I can do it on every quarter beat, on every half beat. I can change that later, but at least having the bars sorted out, I know where the music changes. So we're gonna start the track here, and that's exactly what I'm gonna do. So I'll start the track. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, you'll just do that for the entire track. So now I have these little beats here, these little markers, and if I turn on this little icon right here, you can see it's blue. If I keep it white, it's no longer there. You notice how I move my mouse, you see this red line, okay? So now this red line is just moving through my timeline. If I turn on this little button right here, that will snap clips together. So it'll automatically, when I drag a clip in, it'll snap it to the previous clip or whatever point I want it to snap to. And you can see now that the line is red, but as soon as it hits a marker, it turns yellow. So it's very easy. I know exactly where the marker is and the clip will jump in exactly where I want it to. So now again, I'm just gonna randomly throw clips in here just so you can see how an edit is put together basically. I can use the I key on my keyboard to set an in point, drag along, and we're gonna stop it there. I'll hit the O key on my keyboard for the out. So now I've got a little in and out of this clip here. Simply drag it, drop, and it'll sit down in there. Now you can see down here there's this sort of waveform underneath the video clip. That is the audio of that clip. So if I'm playing the music and I don't want any audio from that clip, I can just drag that down. So then basically, you can see here I'm not exactly timed just because I threw the track in randomly, but there, I want the track to start right as that first clip opens. So I play that, boom, the audio starts. Now if you want a little bit of a fade in, you can bring your mouse down at the beginning here, and you see there's this very, very small little icon that pops up. There, you see how the arrow changes from the mouse? I find it there. I can drag this little fader, and that will fade the music in, and I can make it as long or as short as I want. So there, I just keep repeating the same process. Drag it down into my timeline, and I'll put that down. Now, if I think I've taken too much, very simple, I can hit the T key on my keyboard, and that changes my mouse. If I go back to A, you see the normal mouse tip right there. If I hit T, that's allowing me to trim the clip. So I've taken too much. I'm going to trim the clip down to 10 seconds, for example. Now again, if I want it to end at a beat, notice how when I cross one of these purple markers, a yellow line snaps right there. So I know, okay, there, next beat. I can drag it right to the exact point I want the clip to end at. Then I just keep doing the same process. I can come down here and click on the song, okay, so that it knows, the program knows I'm working with the song, and I'm gonna hit Command B. Command B cuts the clip in two. So notice that the song down here has now been split into two parts. If I do Command Z, that undoes what I've done. Notice how it's one track, there's no split there. Click there, Command B, it blades it. So now I'm gonna delete the rest of the song, delete that, and that would be the end of my video, for example. So I can drag this if I wanted a little fade. I find that little icon, bring that over, and I have about 2.5 seconds where the audio is going to fade out. Let's say I wanted to add a title. Okay, I wanted to add a very basic title. I come over here to the little T icon, and I'm going to grab a random title. So let's say I come into lower thirds, and I like basic name and description. Okay, so I'm going to take that, and I'm going to input that on the second clip. I want it to come in right at the start of the second clip, and you can see here that this is highlighted. The yellow number right here shows me how long the selected clip is. So I know that this title right now is 10.1 seconds, so that's going to be too long. I only want it in there for 6, for example. So I'm going to hit T, drag this down to, there we go, 6 seconds. I'm going to click on that, and then I'm going to come into the right-hand side here. I haven't talked about this yet. So when I have something selected, this right-hand window over here is the sort of effects window for that selected clip. So in this case, because it's a title, I have a few different parameters up here that I can change. I can change some of the fonts over here. I can change some of the attributes in there, and I can change what the title says. See, I have all these sort of controls over here. So I'm going to come over here, place my timeline head in that clip so I can see what's going on. See how it has name and description down here? Double click there, and that brings me over here, and I'm going to put in skiing on snow. I don't know. I'm just putting some random words here. Skiing on snow. Okay, that's what I want the title to say. The description, maybe down here the description, I'm going to put the date, January 20th, 2018. So there, that's my clip. So let's say I want to sort of fade transition at the end. Okay, so at the end, I'm gonna bring my timeline head to the end, and I want to fade. So I can look through these and I can see whatever transition I want, but I know that there's a fade in here, so I can also go down to this bar and search for fade. There it is, it pops up. I'm gonna drag this to the end of my clip, get that out of the way because I don't want to see it. So now as I come to the end of the clip, it's gonna fade to black. So it'll come out here and it'll fade away, and that's how I can end my video. Now let's say let's undo what I've just done, open the transitions. Let's say I want to transition between two clips. I can just drag this in and the program will automatically sort that out between the two, so it would fade out of one and into the next one seamlessly like that. So that's something you can do with these transitions that are installed, but I just wanted at the end to have it fade to black. So there's one last thing we need to do, because this is the end of my video sequence. I'm going to come up to the file menu. I need to make sure that this little icon is finished, okay? This is where it renders the video. So as you edit, the program is doing things in the background to actually make the edit happen, if you will. So the last thing you need to do is come up to here. You're gonna go File, and you're gonna go Share. So now you have a few different options. You can share the file to YouTube, to Vimeo, to online services exactly, or you can share the master file. Now, if you wanted to do whatever you wanted with the file, I suggest you do this, but it also creates a larger file than needed. Some of the other formats will compress the video into a smaller file. Here you can name it whatever you want, and here are your settings. So this is the info tab, name it, do all the descriptions that you want. Here is where you can tweak one last time some of the settings, so you can change the audio format, the codec, and all that sort of stuff. But you don't really ever need to adjust this. You would just go next and then select where you want to save it. So I'm going to save it as Skiblog 5. I can save it to any place I want on my computer. I could say desktop, hit save, and that will export the video. I've just completed my first edit. If you guys have any questions, definitely leave them down below. I'm going to answer them. I'll help you out with anything you would want to know. If I don't have the answer, maybe somebody else will. So leave those questions down below. I thank you very, very much for watching. Leave a like if you enjoyed the video, and if you learned something, I'll try and do a few more of these tutorials if I find that a lot of people like them. It isn't necessarily having to do anything with sports, if you will, all things sports, but hey, you know, make sure you hit the subscribe button because there's a lot of new videos coming soon, and I don't want you to miss out on those. Again, thanks for watching. I'm signing off for now. Take care. Have a great day.